The Pale Man serves as the main antagonist in the game No, I'm Not a Human. From the moment he appears, you can tell something about him feels wrong. His presence seeps into every frame that he's in, not through noise or violence, but through that still, suffocating tension that makes you want to look away. He's a mysterious figure. His motives, his nature, even his existence are all clouded in uncertainty. But that doesn't mean we can't start to piece together who or what he might really be. The Pale Man's introduction isn't loud or dramatic. On the third night, he simply appears standing beyond the window, in the dark, motionless. The longer you look, the more you realize something about him doesn't fit. The protagonist notes that his body seems like it doesn't fit, and that his skin is folding. This small detail is easy to miss, but it's one of the first hints that something is off. We're looking at a figure who doesn't seem fully human, yet isn't fully something else either. On the fourth night, things escalate. The Pale Man walks up to your door. If you don't have anyone else in your home, he'll break inside. This is the first time we get a full look at him. He's abnormally tall, taller than the doorframe even. His skin is sagging unnaturally. It's in this moment that players who know their horror literature might notice a striking similarity to Judge Holden from Cormac McCarthy's Blood Meridian. A larger-than-life, bald, predatory figure whose presence is as philosophical as it is violent. It's not an accident. The developers have admitted that the Pale Man draws inspiration from Judge Holden's description as a terrifying, godlike embodiment of violence who seems less like a man and more like an elemental force. As the game progresses, the Pale Man doesn't simply disappear after one scare. He keeps coming back. We learn through various interactions that he isn't acting alone. He's part of some kind of organized group that's been sending him to your doorstep again and again. More importantly, we begin to see his personality emerge. He doesn't just attack. He enjoys causing fear. His methods are theatrical, almost ritualistic. He stalks. He waits. He breaks the boundary of the door only at the right time. This is where the game cleverly blurs the line between a simple intruder and something supernatural. The other visitors in the game are disturbing, but they feel bound by certain rules. The Pale Man doesn't. The biggest clue about who the Pale Man really is comes if the player encounters the NPC known as the Bearded Guy. This character tells a chilling story. He had seen the Pale Man before. At first, he was just a man, frantically begging to be let inside his house. Day after day, the Bearded Guy refused him entry. But something changed. The Pale Man returned. Taller, half naked, skin sagged like a costume slipping off. His expression had turned sinister. In a moment of pure horror, the Pale Man took the Bearded Guy's gun, snapped it in half like a toy, and simply stared at him until the sun came up. This story reframes everything we've seen. The Pale Man was a normal human, presumably during the first 2 days of the game. But something happened between then and now. Something that transformed him from a desperate man at the door into a monstrous figure beyond human limits. This transformation is reflected in his gameplay behavior. Unlike the other visitors, the Pale Man doesn't just knock politely or attempt a basic entry. He can break into your home outright. He can take out an entire team of trained government soldiers. This isn't speculation. If you dig into the game's files, you'll find he's labeled as both Super Intruder and Super Visitor. These terms don't appear anywhere else, and they're never explained in-game, but they strongly suggest that the Pale Man exists on a level above the other visitors, a tier reserved for something unique. We can only infer what these labels mean, but one thing is clear: the Pale Man is not just another visitor. He's something different, and well, he's something worse. To get a better understanding of the Pale Man, we have to understand what the visitors actually are. And the problem is that the game itself gives us conflicting information. At one point, the TV gets hijacked by a broadcast claiming the visitors are parasites infecting people's brains. Earlier though, your neighbor tells you they're simply corpses rising from the ground. But in interviews, the developers have said their true nature is closer to skinwalkers, beings that wear other people's flesh. This contradiction is important, however. It creates a sense of paranoia and uncertainty, both for the player and for the world of the game. No one knows the truth. Everyone has a different story. In that context, the Pale Man stands out as something even stranger. He's not just wearing skin, he seems to be in the middle of shedding his humanity. So what does all this mean? The Pale Man appears to be a bridge between the human and the visitor. We know he started as a man, and we know he became something more. His sagging skin, his height, his power, all signs of an incomplete transformation or possession. Some fans theorize that the Pale Man is what happens when a visitor fully integrates with a host body, creating a super visitor with memories, intelligence, and physical prowess. Others see him as a punishment figure, a man who resisted too long, now twisted in the very thing he feared. The developers haven't confirmed either theory. In fact, they've been deliberately vague about his backstory, likely to maintain the mystery. But that's what makes the Pale Man so effective. He isn't just a scary model or a jump scare. He's a story in himself. We watch his evolution across the nights. We hear fragments of his past from other characters, and we're left to put the pieces together ourselves. In a genre crowded with monsters, the Pale Man stands out because of his pacing and mystery. He isn't just thrown at you for a quick scare. He's introduced slowly, built up over nights, given whispers of a backstory, and then escalated into something unstoppable. He's also rooted in familiar archetypes. The outsider at the door, the skinwalker, the Judge Holden inspiration. But they're just twisted enough to feel new. He's human enough to be relatable, alien enough to be terrifying. And like the best horror antagonists, the less we know, the scarier he becomes.